It's Flashcards Friday at Math Science History. I'm Gabrielle Burchak, your host. This week on the full-length episode, we looked at the extraordinary life of Rosalind Franklin, the scientist whose work helped reveal the structure of DNA. Franklin's X-ray crystallography produced one of the most important scientific images in history. That image provided crucial evidence for the double helix structure of DNA, a breakthrough that changed biology, medicine, and our understanding of life itself. Franklin's story is not only about science, it's also about rigor, resilience, and legacy. So today, for Flashcards Friday, here are 3 things we can take away from her life story. Takeaway number 1, precision matters. If you had a chance to listen to the podcast, you will remember that Franklin's work was painstaking. She was known for her rigor, her refusal to jump to conclusions, and her insistence on letting the data speak. That is a lesson far beyond science. In life, it is easy to rush forward to the first answer, the first assumption, or the first emotional reaction. And Franklin's work reminds us that precision matters. Franklin's precision was not just about getting the right answer. It was about trusting the process of observation before interpretation. That same discipline serves us in everyday life. Sometimes we tell ourselves a story too quickly, that a silence means rejection, that one setback means failure, or that an unanswered email means the opportunity is gone. Precision asks us to slow down and separate fact from assumption. What do we actually know? And what are we filling in ourselves? This week, before drawing a conclusion, take one extra moment to examine the evidence. Often, the clearest path forward begins not with speed, but with accuracy. Whether you're making a career decision, working through a relationship, or building something creative, clarity comes from paying close attention to the evidence right in front of you. This week, ask yourself, am I reacting quickly or am I really looking closely? All right, our second takeaway. Your work has value, even if recognition is delayed. One of the hardest parts of Franklin's story is that the full recognition of her contribution came slowly. Her life reminds us that impact and recognition don't always arrive at the same time. Sometimes the value of what you are building is visible long before the world catches up. And that may be true of your work, your ideas, or the effort you are putting into something that still feels unseen. If anything, Franklin's legacy reminds us that important work often outlives the moment. Consider this: the delay does not diminish the value. Recognition often moves on a different timeline than effort. Some of the most meaningful work in our lives happens quietly, behind the scenes, long before anyone else sees its significance. A project may take months before it gains momentum. A relationship may require patience before trust fully forms. Personal growth can feel invisible until one day you realize, oh my gosh, you are responding differently, thinking more clearly, or standing more firmly in your own voice, which is exactly where you want to be. Franklin's story reminds us that visibility is not the same as value. What matters is the integrity of the work itself. This week, if something you are building still feels unseen, remind yourself that progress isn't always public. The significance is not measured by immediate recognition, even if you did post something on the socials. So this week, remember, do the work that matters, even if the applause comes later. That's okay. Later, when the applause comes, it'll feel so much better. All right, here's takeaway number 3. Legacy lives in what you make possible. Franklin's influence did not end with her DNA. Her work in structural biology helped lay foundations that continue to shape science today, including research paths that lead to modern virology or vaccine development. That is the deeper lesson. Sometimes your greatest contribution is not only what you do directly, but what you make possible for others. A conversation, an idea, a kindness, a piece of work, all of it can ripple forward in ways you may never fully see. And I speak from experience as a podcaster. I have no idea who's listening to this until I see the comments, and I have no idea how many people I'm inspiring until somebody actually says something. So there you go. It's rippling forward. And by the way, if this podcast inspires you, please leave a comment. I would love to hear how you are doing and how these Flashcard Fridays help. So back to legacy. Legacy is rarely immediate, and it is not always visible in the moment. Often it lives in the doors we open, the people we encourage, and the work we leave behind for others to expand upon. A thoughtful word can shift someone's confidence. A shared idea can spark someone else's breakthrough. A project you begin today may become the foundation for something far greater tomorrow. Franklin's life reminds us that impact is not measured only by what carries our name, but by what continues to grow because we were here. This week, consider not only what you are creating, but what you are making possible. This week, ask yourself, what am I putting into the world that may help someone else build further? Rosalind Franklin's story is a reminder that precision, perseverance, and legacy are not separate ideas. So, before we close up, let's do a quick recap. Flashcard number 1, precision matters. Franklin's work reminds us that clarity comes from close observation, careful thinking, and letting the evidence lead the way. Flashcard number 2, delayed recognition does not diminish value. The world may not always see your work right away, but that does not make it less meaningful. And flashcard number 3, legacy is what you make possible. Sometimes the greatest impact of your work is not only what it achieves today, but what it allows others to build tomorrow. So whether you are a scientist, a psychologist, a car repair person, or even a gamer, remember, your work always gives back when you consider these 3 things: precision, value, and legacy. Thank you for listening to Flashcards Friday at Math Science History, and stay tuned for Monday when I continue with my trial run on a new series on Math Science History called Monday Momentum, where you can start out your Monday with some powerful momentum to help move you forward. Thank you again for listening, and until next time, Carpe Diem!